everybody, and welcome back to Body Talk with Gigi and Melody Marie, where it's all about the body.
And we love to talk. Okay? So we're talking all about bodybuilding tonight, you guys. How it started, the history of it. But guess what? This is going to be an ongoing series that we're going to be doing over the next couple months.
It has to be.
It has to, because there's so much information.
It's so much.
It's so much information.
It'll make your head swirl.
Right. And so we want to be able to just give you pieces as we go.
Right.
You know, we're talking right now about the history of it and some of our faves.
Because history is important. You kind of have to know where you've been in order to know where you're going.
Because a lot of people just jump into this sport and they really don't know the history of it.
They don't know the history.
And so they don't really know their why.
Right.
Of why they're competing. But if you know the history, it'll give you a better understanding.
And if you like kind of know some names and kind of, you know, figured out what was going on with them, why they were competing, why they competed, what their journey was, it kind of helps ground you and have a better understanding of what your purpose is for competing.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the ladies. Now we've got a fave. A lot of women were very much inspired by this young lady, which made them get into bodybuilding. One of my dear friends and mentors, Monique Hayes, this is one of the women that she saw that made her want to get into bodybuilding. And Monique went on to be a IFBB pro and champion. So who is this beautiful young lady we're going to talk about?
Of course, everyone. You can't go anywhere, I don't think, in definitely this country, and I'm pretty sure the world, and say the name Linda Murray.
Yes.
And someone not know who that is.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a bodybuilding fanatic or a fitness fanatic to not know that name.
Yes.
And what she's kind of like one of America's, you know, jewels.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It also put black women on the map to really get into the sport of bodybuilding because they saw this beautiful chocolate woman, and she brought sexy to the bodybuilding too.
She had muscles.
Yeah.
And she was pretty.
Yes.
Sexy. Yes. So, and she, you know, her story is pretty amazing, but what's really amazing about Linda Murray's story is that when she rose to stardom, you know, in the early 90s, she won the Olympia title, right? In 92, 93, 94, and 95. All right? So she did some amazing things, enjoyed that ride. Then she decided she wanted to retire. Right? Which is understandable. Heck, she just like busted out 40
She had
already done it. So she retired for about 4 years. Right. But guess what?
She came back out of retirement, you guys.
She came back out of retirement. But she didn't just come back.
Because she was 4 years in retirement and then came back and did what?
She won.
She murdered it.
Murdered it.
Yeah, she murdered it.
2 more times.
2 more times.
In 2002 and 2003. That's like winning.
That's winning. Hashtag winning.
I mean, so that's so inspiring. And like you said, and to be like an African American ourselves, that really helps and allows us to know that, yes, we know that everything and anything is possible for us, but to see someone that looks like us achieve something like that, and to know that she's intelligent and she's educated and she's feminine and she has a family and she's doing all these other things. That's super right
and she's still known as an icon in the bodybuilding world. Anytime you mention Linda's name, if people are really in the sport, they know who that is.
They know.
You know, and I love that about it because the other divisions weren't up and running yet. There was no figure or fitness category or bikini. So it was bodybuilding. So that really set a platform for women of all color to be able to say, I can jump in and do this sport and be successful. So kudos to Linda. Another one of Gigi's favorite is no other than Mr. Dexter Jackson.
The Blade himself.
Yeah, she loved the Blade, okay? So let me tell you guys a little bit about Dexter.
Why don't you tell us a little bit? Because you know, when I start talking about people I really like, I get all like goofy. She gonna shut me up. And then I be and remember this, and then I remember that. Oh, and then I remember. We're not gonna go there.
Did you ever get a chance to see him on stage?
No.
Yes, I had an opportunity to see him on stage. He was amazing. But Dexter first, you know, entered into NPC, which is the National Physique Committee, back in '92, where he took 3rd. And then he went on to do the Arnold Classic in '99, and there he placed 7th, then 3rd, then 9th. But this is what they said about him in '07. They were basically like, okay, well, Jackson placed 3rd in '07, but they said he'll never place any higher than that. You know, and I remember he used to be up there with with the Ronnie Colemans and all of that, which is another 8-time champion.
Exactly.
Along with Lee Haney was an 8-time champion. And if you guys, Lee Haney was actually on our show. So you guys make sure you go back.
December.
It was like our 2nd or 3rd show. He was amazing.
I think that was back in December. So if you go to our YouTube page on Body Talk Media, you can see that footage from Mr. Lee Haney, 8-time Olympian himself.
It was an amazing show. You can learn so much from Lee because he is another icon himself.
Goodness.
Yes, Lee is amazing.
A wealth of knowledge.
Just
great kind of being in his presence.
Right.
I was just feeling like I was just like trying to suck stuff out of him, like by osmosis, like about fitness and health, that's literally what I was trying to do.
Yeah, because Lee was the first one to really, set it off and be an 8-time champion. He was unbeatable, which really inspired the next person to say, can I actually do it like that? And it doesn't hurt that he's a brother too, you know what I'm saying? So once again, it gave an opportunity to open doors. And a
healthy, strong, committed Christian brother.
Yes. He is
he is.
I love
Born
that
again
about
Christian.
him. And you guys, he look good even now, okay? So make sure y'all check out Lee Haney. Yes.
Yes.
But more about Dexter. So in 07, he actually got 3rd place. And they said, he's not going to get any higher than 3rd place. Well, he turned around in 08 and defeated 2-time Mr. Olympia, because if you guys remember, Jay Cutler was the next to come in line after Ronnie Coleman.
Y'all know Jay Cutler, he's a beast just like Ronnie Coleman. So
he came about and he took it right on out. And he's going on to have a couple of titles as well too. So we want to say kudos to that.
Yes.
But we also want to talk about all of the great athletes that are in the other organizations as well too. Some of the natural organizations, you guys, there are some great defeats like the Clevelands and the Marshall Johnsons and the Siobhans, all of those amazing individuals that are in the other organizations as well too.
You're not going to really see on the mainstream.
But they're amazing athletes.
Are amazing athletes.
Right, exactly. And we're going to come back in another show and talk about those individuals.
We're going to be covering and highlighting those.
We're going to be highlighting everybody.
And those women.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Because we see these competitors. We compete with some of these competitors. And we obviously follow each other. And just to see their accomplishments.
Absolutely.
Is, inspiring and gratifying. Even if we're not the ones competing, it's gratifying to see them on their journey and to see during their season how well that they're doing. They are doing. And then they're friends.
Right.
They're all friends.
We know all of them, and I mean, these guys are, unstoppable and, unbeatable and things like that. But I want to ask Miss Gigi, Gigi is actually a bodybuilder too, but she competes in the figure division. And by the way, you guys, she is a pro figure competitor as well too. And I want to, if you guys hadn't been watching, in one of our first shows, Gigi shared her story and why she got on her fitness and weight loss journey, but then she also became a competitor. So Gigi, share with us, what made you get into competing and how did it evolve from there? Because the people need to hear your story.
The people need to hear my story.
Because we're always talking about everybody else. But sometimes I need her to talk about herself, okay? So Gigi, give it to the people.
Okay, well, thank you, Miss Melody Marie. I can't wait till we hear your story. Well, I actually was interested in competing in bodybuilding in my 20s.
Okay.
My early 20s, which will be in the early 90s. And a lot of where I came from in North Louisiana, South Arkansas, you just didn't hear people talking about, or females competing in bodybuilding. It wasn't like this mainstream common type thing. But I was interested in it, and Melody has alluded to or has mentioned, I actually, most of you kind of know my story. I've had an up and down kind of love-hate relationship with my weight. And I didn't have it so much in my early 20s, but it kind of hit later on. I did when I was a young child. But just competing in bodybuilding and being in a sport like that is something I just really wanted to do. And I wasn't an athlete in school, kind of, sort of, because of my weight issues.
Well, did y'all hear that? She wasn't a natural-born athlete in school. She also was a transformation success as well, too, and went on to become a champion in pro figure competition.
Yes.
love that.
But the thing about it is I always felt like I could.
Yeah.
You know? But when you kind of have an issue like a problem with your weight, it will inhibit you from achieving certain things. And so because I was up and down in high school and middle school and, you know, 10 years old, I remember being 150 pounds because I had that mindset still. It was difficult to be able to convince myself to say, hey, I can play basketball. Hey, I can be an athlete out there. I just couldn't see myself doing that. But inside I knew I'm strong. I knew, it's like I felt like I could inside. But here, the two hadn't connected yet. And they kind of have to connect.
And so you knew you wanted to compete, right? So when did you actually hit the stage for the very first time?
Okay, so I actually started competing. I started training, working out, and maintained all of that, and I just continued, and I was like, I think I'm good at this.
Which she is. She really is good at it.
And so then I went and searched. This is a mistake some people will make. I went and searched for a coach. And that's something I think we'll talk about maybe a little bit later, but I found a coach. I actually had to go through a couple of coaches initially, and that's how I come to work with Derek Taylor, who was my second coach.
pt3.
Yes, so I actually had my first competition in 2013.
2013 was your first competition?
Yes, I started training end of 2012. I had my first competition in 2013. It was April. That was an NGA show. I'm a place first.
Now, I missed that show. I wasn't at that show, but I saw you at the next one.
And then I had, later that year, in November, I had my second, which was an SNBF in November of that year, and I placed second in both classes.
She wore Pretty Pink. I remember that show very well.
Love my pink. And in 2014, I actually had an injury. I suffered a hamstring injury that actually took me out all of 2014. Well, I started back training end of 2014. It took 8 months to heal.
Oh wow. So you guys, you see, sometimes that happens, but she just kept on ticking.
I kept on. I was in the gym some, but I had to heal my hamstring. I was getting laser treatments. I was being treated. So it took 8 months for that to heal. I started back training end of 2014, and then I hit the stage again, and then I started working with Melody. We were already
friends. That's where we linked up.
And then we linked up. She started helping me with my posing because I needed it, honey.
And this is why I'm so proud of Gigi, and I always brag on her because, you know, after that 8 months, and we're not going to take a break. I want them to keep hearing your story. We got good stuff going on. After that injury of 8 months, she brought it on right back. And what she did that next year in 2015 is amazing. Keep telling the people.
So I went in the training mode, taking it easy, testing the leg. Then was able to go into full training mode by the beginning of the year. And so I was on stage for the first competition in April of 2015. It was an NGA show, and it was
I'm so proud. I like proud mama.
Basically, I earned my pro card.
Do you guys see this picture of this young lady? Is not an amazing body, honey? Yes.
So I earned my pro card, my figure pro card in that competition. And so continued training, because then I set my sights on my pro debut, which was the DFAC Georgia Championships in June. And
do we have a picture from that?
We do. I'm sorry. So we have the
one in the green. Let's put that.
I forgot we have pictures. So our engineer is putting up pictures. I forgot I have pictures. So
keep going. We'll find it. Yeah.
So so I competed in June for in the DFAC. And that was what we call our pro debut. That was my pro debut, which means I competed with other pros.
That's it, right there.
So I was technically, prior to that, an amateur who had won her pro card, but I hadn't competed against pros yet, right, on stage with pros. So that was my first competition on stage, competing as a pro with seasoned pros.
In a organization that was very new to you.
Very new.
And it was new to me too.
It was new, and it was one that I had been wanting to do, because the reason why I liked the DFAC organization is because I knew with my body type, it allowed me to pose my body, present my body in a muscularity round, similar to that of like
she killed it.
physique poses.
She killed
so
it.
not just figure, but you can throw in a little physique posing as well, and I kind of like that. And with my body, when I'm competing, I have that type of body.
Yeah.
And so I won. I placed first.
Yeah.
So I won my pro debut.
And you still stand as the Georgia Defect Figure Pro Champion. Is that correct?
It is correct.
All right. I'm going to do a little bragging on her tonight. She's trying to be modest, but I tell you guys, she is still standing as the Georgia Defect Pro Figure Champion. Just a little fact for you.
Yes, so in which I'm very thankful for that. And so that was a really good year. So I took about a month off or so, a few weeks. Noah and I did a little traveling, but then I set my sights on the Worlds competition in Miami.
Now, you guys, the Defect Worlds is their top show, you guys. You basically, you know, have to have an invitation to go.
Yes.
Especially as amateurs, you have to be
You can't just roll up on them.
Right. And people come from all over the world because DFAC is actually an international federation.
It is.
So you have people coming from Europe and so forth, from all over the country. Australia. So this was a big deal. This was her big first international show. And so I had the pleasure to roll with her down to Miami and tell them about that.
Okay, so I convinced Miss Melody to come to Miami with me for my first international competition.
Right.
And it was just an amazing experience. So at this point, that was the largest competition I had competed in.
Right.
In my category, was it third?
It was a lot of girls.
It was a lot of girls.
Yes.
I can't remember. And a lot of tough competition.
Yeah, because these were the top girls, you know, around the world.
Around the world in all of their federations.
Yes.
So it was like not going to be an easy feat. And actually traveling. That was my first time traveling. So as a competitor, that's something else you have to think about. All the changes you have to make and adjustments when you travel. How that's going to affect your body. So that was a whole nother kind of beast that I had to prep for and plan for.
Going into that show, you know, what is a key little pointer that you can give to other women out there that are competing, getting into the pro division, and going on to do these bigger shows? The bigger show it is, the tougher it gets. If you could give them one key thing, what would it be?
My advice would be, especially when it comes, you mean like when it comes to traveling and doing bigger shows?
Just one key thing. It doesn't matter. Traveling, keep yourself calm, preparation, whatever one key thing you want to give them.
You have to enjoy it.
I love that one.
You have to
I'm
enjoy
glad you said that.
And have fun. And I actually enjoy the process. It's a little tedious. It's monotonous. It's a lot of pieces that go to it. But I actually enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anyone else.
You gotta have fun.
You gotta have fun. I actually do it. I compete for myself.
Yes.
So I don't compete because of some other girl or some other guy, or those aren't my reasons.
Right.
So I think your reasons have to be honest.
Right.
And authentic. And when it's for your individual reasons, then I think you can actually enjoy yourself.
Right.
You can have fun.
You gotta have fun. You guys, you gotta have fun doing this. I mean, you're gonna do a lot of hard work. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be bumps along the way, you know. But you gotta have fun. So then this little mamacita goes out here to Miami. We're in, you know, foreign territory. Neither one of us have ever been to this show.
No.
And she hits the stage and murders it again. And what placement did you get in the DFAC World? I say World. International show. What place did you get, girl?
I placed fourth.
Fourth in the world.
Was like first to me.
Fourth in the world. This is her second pro competition. She's competing. I'm gonna take over here. She's competing with pros that have been doing this for years. That have many titles.
Pros that I've been watching, like figure pros that I had been like. Still respect. I had so much respect for because I had been watching them.
Right.
And then I was on stage competing with them.
Right.
So you really have to have your mind in a good place to be able to handle that.
That was a huge accomplishment, very much. And if you had to tell the audience, you know, like one reason, you know, I know you do this for yourself, but that one gut-wrenching reason of why you do this and you continue to do this, because people need to know their why when they're doing this, what would that be for you?
For me, as strange as it sounds, competing helps me stay focused and organized with the rest of my life.
Okay.
Go figure. As much as you have to put into it, with food prep, with your training, with your sleep, with everything, it actually keeps me balanced in my other life.
Right.
You know, I get my laundry done on time. You know, I make sure Noah has everything he needs. You know, my house is nice and clean. And I think that's because you have to be so structured, excuse me, when it comes to competing, that overflows into the other part of my life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Because if you just kind of get lax on one little thing, then it's like if you miss one day of training when you're in competition mode, guess what? You can't get it back.
Right. That's true.
You can't get it back.
I love that.
So that's what it does for me.
That's great. I mean, and that's why I didn't go to break, because you guys needed to hear Gigi's story. And of course, she's going on and won more titles. So we're going to have more about how fabulous Gigi is, and you know why we'll talk about me next, but why, you know, we got started in this. We're even going to talk about some of our successes and our failures when we come back. You guys don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. This is Body Talk with Gigi and Melody Marie. We'll see you in just a second.